Welcome back to another episode of Simplyrobotix, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique, and as always, you can find me on all social media platforms at Simplyrobotix, Simplyrobotix. This is another episode that is being sponsored by Autodesk, and I'm making sure that the sponsored episodes are really giving you the type of content and conversation that y'all enjoy. Today's guest is going to be Courtney Pure. She's someone that I attended college with. She's one of the few Black girls that were also doing animation, even though she was in 2D, I was in 3D, that I was able to meet in college and befriend. And it's just so dope, I think, because of those two things. And she's from New York too. She's from Long Island, as you'll hear her say. I think because we had some of that shared experience that we've been able to maintain a friendship now for almost 10 years since graduating college. Courtney has such an interesting career journey. She is a freelance art animator, or she's always worked as freelance, where I've worked more staffed positions. So I always like being able to talk with her and just hear and learn from her experiences. She's also, like me, post-college, did a whole bunch of odd jobs, maybe odd to people outside, of course, of not only of our industry, of just it happens when you go and you study something so specialized. And some people are those cases where they get the job in the studio right out of college. We were not those people. And I can't really say that it's race and or gender that played a part in that, but I just feel it's very important to keep hearing stories, or to have people keep sharing their experiences, their journey, being like, no, I didn't get the job right out of college. I didn't even get the job 1 or 2 years once I got out of college, because that's actually what we need to hear. I'm saying we, but that's actually what people that are coming out of college and people that are trying to break in the industry need to hear. It's not you. It's just in this unfortunate thing of being in animation. And then another thing that I personally love being like, Courtney, speak, talk about this, talk about yourself, is because Courtney, a Black woman, has found an intersection of science and animation. And she gets into talking about that in the interview part or whatever, about, what that experience was like, fusing science and her passion for science and her passion for art. So I just thought that it would be a really great episode, and I think y'all are gonna really like it and enjoy it. So I'm not gonna keep blabbing for much longer. Let's just get into it. Courtney, thank you for joining me today and this evening. Could you tell my listeners a little bit about where you're from?
Sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I've been a longtime listener and really enjoy the show. So my name is Courtney Pure. I'm from Long Island, New York. And I've lived on Long Island my entire life. I'm a native New Yorker, and yeah.
Okay.
So,
no, that's fine. Next right, question cool. I have is, this is part of our backstory, but did you go to school for the industry that you are currently working in?
Yes. So right now I actually make animated stickers and GIFs, and I went to the School of Visual Arts and I studied traditional animation. I graduated in 2011, which is almost 10 years, right?
Yeah,
we're getting to 10 years.
This year. I had this realization 2 weekends ago, and I was like, 10 years?
Yeah. I remember when the 10 year from my high school was, and I was just like, oh my gosh, 10 years of high school. And now it's just all of a sudden it's 10 years college. It's crazy.
And for me, it just feels super weird because I feel like I'm now starting to get settled in the industry and in my career or whatever. And it's
Oh,
like,
yes.
dang, like, oh man.
Oh, yes. I definitely feel that. Like, I've gone through different iterations from like when I graduated high school and I graduated college. Like, everything was not exactly how I was planned, but it all worked out in the end. So,
Yeah. So, I
yeah.
mean, on that note, what was your first job like ever? And what was your first industry job?
So my first job, like ever, I worked at a movie theater. Like when I was in high school, I had like heard somewhere it's just like, oh yeah, everyone that has like worked in film, whether they're like an actor or whatever, they always worked at a movie theater. So I was just like, all right, cool, I can do this. So I worked at a movie theater pretty much all the way up until like second year of college. And it just kind of grew too much, kind of going back and forth from the city because it was about like an hour 15 minutes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was like my first job. And then after that, I did TA actually at SVA. And I really enjoyed that. I learned that I really loved like teaching people and like just exchanging ideas and things like that, and learning that like not only am I teaching them, but they are teaching me things.
Oh.
So even though we were in like close, age range, because when you're a TA, I think we started like junior year. So it's just like, it's like first years and stuff like that. So yeah, it just felt really good to do that. And then once I graduated college, my first job was actually as a production assistant in live action film. So we basically did, it was like commercials. So they're called like interstitials. Like they're kind of a little bit shorter than commercials. And they appear in like different places all over the net, whether it was just like on the website or actually on TV. But the companies that I worked with were like the A&E networks area. So like Lifetime, Discovery Channel, Cooking Channel. Cooking Channel was my favorite because we got to taste everything after the
Oh,
end.
nice.
Yeah. So so that was my first like industry job, even though it wasn't like in animation. But I did get to do some things like I did on one of the Cooking Channel shoots that we did. I got to do like the storyboard for it. So like, even though I was a PA, like they were allowing me to do like a few things that I did learn, creatively within my job, because even through my entire time there, because I worked my way up from being a production assistant to production coordinator, it's all administrative stuff. So it's not creative. But, it was a small team, so they allowed me to do some of those things, which was really cool. So
yeah, that is cool. So you had quite a journey after your time at SVA. And we have that you worked in animation, you did web development, social media management, production management, sustainable agriculture, and tech support for the non-technical. Please tell us a little bit about how or like what was happening, because like this is also just such a real thing. Just gonna interject and say a little bit about myself. I did also work in a movie theater. This was after college. I did film festival. I did stuff with Mercedes-Benz Fast Fashion Week, like actually like us putting up the chairs and like making it look pretty or whatever, and filling up gift bags. I worked in a shoe store, and I've done so much random stuff. And that I just don't want it to be like lost on people that you have such a linear path after college, like it's kind of like they say, like a spiral staircase. Like you're advancing, but you're kind of going around in a circle at the same time.